So we'll be starting in the oral cavity. The cat has 3 pairs of salivary glands: the mandibular gland, the parotid, and the sublingual, which we can't see. Salivary glands produce saliva, which is used for moistening food, has mucus, contains the enzyme amylase, which breaks down starches, and has antibacterial agents. We also, in the oral cavity, will find the hard palate and the soft palate, which is in the buccal or oral cavity. You have the pharynx, which is where the nose and mouth airways meet together. The esophagus, which is the tube where food will go down, which is underneath the trachea, and there's also an opening, of course, in the mouth. And the epiglottis, which is the little flap that covers up the glottis to prevent food from going down the wrong pipe. Then in the thoracic region, we find the thymus, which is the gland that is responsible for producing T lymphocytes. It has to do with the immune system, stuff like that. And the thyroid gland, which is responsible for producing thyroxine, which helps to control with metabolism of food. Yeah. We go into the thoracic region, which contains the heart and the lungs, as well as the diaphragm. The lining of this region is called the parietal pleura, which is the lining of the whole thoracic cavity. And then around the lungs, we have the visceral pleura, which is covers the surface of the lung. Then on the heart, we have the parietal pericardium on the outside and the visceral pericardium on the inside. The parietal peritoneum and the visceral peritoneum, which covers each individual organ. The food will travel down the esophagus where it will empty into the stomach. Inside of the stomach, we have these ridges called ruges, help to increase the surface area. In the stomach, there are enzymes to help break down proteins, such as pepsin. So there's 2 sphincters also on the stomach, the cardiac, which is on the top, closer to the heart, and the pyloric, which is where it will empty into the small intestine. The first region of the small intestine is called the duodenum. Then the next region is called the jejunum. Then lastly, you have the ileum. So then you have, at the beginning, the duodenum is where the enzymes and stuff from the pancreas and liver will empty into the small intestine to combine with the food. Oh, and the stuff inside of the stomach is called chyme. So in the duodenum, you have bile emptying from the liver or gallbladder, and pancreas enzymes, and you also have the stuff that connects the small intestine called the mesenteries, which contain blood vessels. Then we have the inside of the small intestine, you have the villi, and then the microvilli. Then where the small intestine and large intestine come together, right here, you have this little area, which is the appendix in the human, and the cecum in the cat, because they still use it. Then you have the different regions of the large intestine, which are you have like the ascending portion, the transverse portion, and then the descending portion. Yep. So in the liver, that's what produces the bile, liver, gigantic, which will then be stored into the gallbladder, which is green. So the gallbladder has these ducts, and you have the hepatic duct, which is this really small one right here, which leads from the liver to the gallbladder. Then you have the cystic duct, which leads from the gallbladder. Then where they come together, that's called the common bile duct, which will then go to the liver, or to the pancreas, sorry, which is down here. In the pancreas, it will combine with the pancreatic duct to form the hepapancreatic duct, which will then be emptied into the duodenum of the small intestine. Okay. The enzymes released and produced from the pancreas are trypsin, lipase, and nuclease. Then we have the spleen,